But yeah, let's talk who wants to be a millionaire then. Unless you guys have any other. You have any opening remarks, Blake?
No, I'm excited about this. I mean, I think this is one of my all-time favorite TV shows.
Okay.
Wow.
I've got it set up to record on my YouTube TV, and I watch it a lot, and I love it. And I probably missed the initial buzz of it. I mean, I remember watching it as a kid, but to this day, I'll still watch it.
It was appointment viewing in my household. This was
until they put it on every night.
Yeah, and I mean, even for probably a little bit into that, we were like, all right, this is what we do at night. We eat dinner, we watch Millionaire.
Yeah, that's what I did.
So the reason we first started talking about this is that somebody wrote in and gave a birthday shout out to Austin, to you, right, Austin Waters?
Yeah,
with one T.
Buddy Kevin.
With one T.
Yes, with one T.
And he had said you were on Millionaire, and then we just started talking about how we liked it and stuff. And then you heard us, right?
Yeah, one of my friends, Jen, actually texted me that day. I hadn't listened to the episode yet because I was at work, and she said, "Oh, such a cool shout-out on the Dumb Zone." I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Cue it up, and I was immediately called Kevin. I was like, dude, I cannot believe you did that. And he was like, man, I haven't even listened to the episode. So I was, not expecting it, and I was like, well, shit, I guess I'll email him, see if he's serious. I didn't really know how serious y'all were, but here we are.
You say in the email, it's a pretty wild story. It was in the heyday of the show when Regis, R.I.P., was the host. A special Father's Day edition.
What's up?
It aired primetime on Father's Day in 2001. The story of how we got on the show is great as well. We can talk about that later. Let me ask in the end. Actually, I saw the episode, but so I kind of know. But how much money did you guys walk away with?
We walked away with $125. After taxes, I think it was like $85. And so I'm the oldest of 4 kids. My parents put $20,000 into each of our college funds. And then my sister, who's like a year and a half younger than me, she's diabetic, and so we donated the other $5,000 to diabetes research. And my dad, at the time, worked at Allstate, and they actually matched the donation, which was really cool.
Nice.
Okay, so $20,000 in each of your college funds.
One class.
Yeah,
that's very
boring.
Yeah. When you're a kid, it's
or
like,
smart,
hey, you can
or
buy
it is smart, but
planning ahead.
I mean, I even feel like I was watching. I can't remember which episode it was. Regis is like, "You already got a sports car."
Yeah.
I'm like, no, we're not buying a Camaro.
It's not like $1,000 for each kid to just, hey, go buy whatever you want.
Yeah.
And we'll put the rest of it. Like, there's nothing worse for my kids than when grandma on Christmas.
Here's your $529.
Yeah, like $500 goes into your college fund, and you're like, all right.
I've got a birthday 5 days after Christmas, so I was always stuck with here's your birthday and Christmas gift, and it was like the same amount that was given to my siblings and stuff, so that was fun. Not from my parents, they were great.
Right, but from Regis.
Yeah.
I think it feels like 85 out of 125. That doesn't seem like egregious for taking taxes, does it?
Well, it's 2/3, right?
Well, they kept 2/3.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I feel like that's normal. Like 35% is what you always hear about, like lottery and stuff.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
I've never won $125,000 on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, though.
Or a scratch off.
No.
So you were. So what's your deal, Jeff? You were on. I guess you also heard us talking about this. And then just sent a clip out of nowhere. It's like, hey, I've been on the show, too.
Right. Well, I thought I'd back it up with some actual, evidence. Not that I'm sure you would have taken my word for it. But no, a good buddy of mine, Dustin, he, I think I missed whatever episode. And so he said, hey, he of course knows that I was on the show. And, I reached out with that lovely clip with me and Miss Vieira, who I have to say, she... when I was on the show, she was a very striking woman. And, we had Well, you'd have to see the whole appearance, but
you had a connection. A little chemistry.
Did.
Yeah.
We absolutely did. It was like palpable. And I would get asked, hey, did y'all, because, she said, it came up in my appearance about how I like to go to the karaoke bar. She asked if we could go together or something like that. I said, well, hell yeah, let's go. And so I really had people this was towards the end of the MySpace time. And so I still had a MySpace because it was like 07, 08. And I got, I don't know how many MySpace messages about, did you go out? Did you do something with Meredith Vieira? Anyway, what was I talking about?
How do you get on the show?
Did you? By the way, did you ever answer that?
No, we just, no.
Just vibed.
Okay.
Vibed.
All right.
Ships
that
passing.
palpable vibe. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ships.
How do you get on the show?
Yeah, because on your email you say, in addition to the cash, I took Meredith out for drinks and a screw. I'd be happy to elaborate. So I certainly wanted to hear about that. But
you didn't remember sending that.
I kind of thought I'd add that for y'all's benefit.
Just to get me to respond.
And to get you to respond. Yeah.
I did the same for Regis.
Yeah. How old were you, Jeff, when you were on?
Let's see. That was about 15 years ago. I'm 45 now, so I was like 30.
Okay, I didn't even know it was on in 07 still.
Well, after Regis, it went to syndication in like 05, 06. And so the way you got on the show when I appeared was a lot different than I'm sure when Austin appeared. Because the Madden Cruiser equivalent of Millionaire would roll into your town, and in this instance, Bass Performance Hall in Fort Worth, and you had to get in line. And I remember it said get there like 9:30, and my dumbass thought, I can just get there like at 10 or something. And the line was wrapped around the building like twice. Waited in that line for about 3.5 hours. Finally got inside Bass Hall, whatever. I was about to say Bass Pro.
Bass Performance Hall.
Yeah. And so I got in through the door, and I'm not kidding, like 2 people behind me, that's when they shut it and said, all right, everybody go home. And then you sat in the theater. They gave you like a little golf pencil, and I swear a pad that was like something you'd get on a hotel nightstand. And it was like 30 questions, it was 30 questions. You answered them. You gave them to the whatever. And before you did that, you got like a marathon little
like a bib type thing.
Yeah, with your number. I still have it somewhere. And so they just, after you take the test, and they say, based on your number, if they call out your number, you went on stage. If you didn't, you went home. They called my number and said, basically, all right, well, you scored to be enough to be on the show, but here's the deal. We're going to put you into a pool of people. This was July. And basically, don't call us, we'll call you. I pretty much forgot about it. Fast forward to the week before Thanksgiving. I'd had a couple of cocktails the night before, so I wake up and I've got like this voicemail from weird number. I have no idea, and it's Millionaire saying, "Call us back. We'll want you on the show if you can be in New York City in 2 weeks." And I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is a funny joke from somebody. I'll call back, and yeah, sure enough, it was legit. And that's back also the time of name your own price on Priceline. And I'll never forget, I got my airfare on Delta for $78 to New York City.
Nice.
Can't get that anymore. No.
Nice.
What were you doing at this time?
Nothing. Kind of like I'm doing now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, because I was tickled by your page. Apparently, there's like a Millionaire Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
And it says Jeff Jones, an unemployed man from Grapevine.
From Grapevine. That is right.
I thought
They
that was
actually
rude.
they were going to use the title Man of Leisure. And I was like, I like that. I'm a man of leisure. And, yeah.
Now it's influencer.
Yeah, possibly. And do you want the rest all the way when I get to New York, or should I hand it to Austin? Or
let's take a look at at your appearance.
Okay,
if we can.
Yes, please.
Can we do that, video man? Let's watch this and listen if you're listening along. This is good as well.
And I feel like I'm gonna have to wrote me a text in here because you keep getting up. You're all excited.
Boy, y'all
I don't
look at the
blame you for
connection.
Yeah, right off the
$100,000,
bat.
sir. Good reason to get up.
I'll say so. Yeah.
You got a
How
little
you
chin
feeling?
turd there, or just
It
a
was
shadow?
I don't know what.
It was a different time.
Should be feeling good. You're 3 away.
What is that shirt that you're
Okay,
wearing?
you
It's
take your water.
Marty Moose.
3 away from $1 million.
From,
Going
Wally
for
World.
$250,000. You ready to play?
Yes, ma'am.
Just some
All right,
people dress
let's
up for the
play.
occasion.
Yeah,
you kind
I
of just
put on a blazer, so that kind of says I sort of
Business.
$250,000.
Okay. So I'm going to pause it here.
Yeah.
The question: in Office Space, Peter's coworker Michael admits that his high-tech get-rich scheme is taken from what movie? So when you see that,
I
Are
didn't
you
have
like
to read
me?
the whole sentence. Yeah,
you already know.
I know it. I'm
Okay.
stroking out, as you can see.
Blake.
It's-
I like to quiz Blake on movies that I'm assuming he didn't
Oh,
see.
yeah.
Great
Let's-
movies. Because Blake doesn't watch great movies.
Oh, that's a shame.
He watches TCU basketball.
Yeah,
Office Space top 10, right? It's
fell
gotta
to
be top
Cincinnati
10.
the other night.
No deal?
This question?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen the clip, but no, I wouldn't have known.
Okay.
In Office Space,
Okay.
Peter's co-worker Michael
like, I'll just let her go.
admits that his
And I,
high-tech
dude,
get-rich scheme
I can't even
is taken
freaking
from
believe
what
Look at you.
The question this easy.
Bill's top 2,
This easy was for $250,000.
Cannonball Run 2, Superman 3, Revenge of the Nerds 2.
God bless you, Meredith Vieira. This is one of the best movies ever. It is Superman 3. See, final answer.
Oh, look at her.
Man, yeah, she's pumped for you.
And they said that I was the first person to ever actually get out of my seat.
She was like Tiger at Augusta.
And yeah, there were some fist bumps.
Cocaine or adrenaline?
At the buzzer.
Adrenaline, mostly.
Not entirely, but
And, we had our lovely embrace there.
Yeah, that was
Just
sweet.
sit down for a
Yeah.
second.
Okay.
All right? Because you're coming back, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, he is. We'll have more $1 Million Movie
man.
Week
They said I was
tomorrow.
All right, $1 Million Movie Week.
Yeah. Said I was the first person, even counting Regis's days, that one appearance, even though I didn't win the million, went over 3 days. So that was something,
Nice.
in case you wondered.
What did you end up winning?
If you saw there's a clip on YouTube of my $500,000 question.
I've got it in front of me. Just the
Okay.
question itself. And it's actually from Diner.
And it
Oh, wow.
haunts me.
Let's see if we can get it, because
Yeah.
we've actually seen that movie.
All right. In the 1982 movie Diner, what is the name of the diner where the main characters hang out?
I wouldn't be able to get that.
Windsor Hills, Rosemont, Fells Point, Allendale.
I would go with Rosemont.
I would have Mike Reiner as my one phone call.
Lifeline.
Let me just, can I tell you?
Is it Rosemont?
No.
No, it was not. So I was out of lifelines.
It was Fells Point.
So I'm at 250,000, right? Well, if you miss, I had already got to the whatever plateau, or
Yeah,
for lack of a better
32,000.
term,
Yeah.
that I couldn't do worse than 25,000. But I missed that. That's a big ass zero to go 250 to 25. But I had this nagging suspicion, like that it was C. Fells Point. I'd heard of Diner because I think it was like Gutenberg's and Kevin Bacon and Daniel Stern. It was like all their first movie, but I had no reason to why I felt this way. So I thought, well, I'd be foolish to, gamble here. Roll
Do you
the
get
dice.
0 if you don't get it?
No, I would have got 25.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
I'm sorry.
guaranteed 25. I couldn't do any worse than that. So I mulled it over for a second and then walked away. And of course she said, well, we got to show you the answer. And it was C. Fells Point. So I would have had $500,000 and then even more so gotten to look at the $1 million question.
Yeah.
But I was still pretty satisfied. It was a good day's work.
Yeah, I
for
guess
somebody
so.
that wasn't doing anything and, still is.
You're a man of leisure.
A man of leisure. It's not a bad day's work.
So did you have to really go back the next day, or do they take a break and you
No,
record?
so we had to get to the studio in the Upper West Side at around 5 a.m. You start by signing your wife.
5 a.m.?
I didn't have a
Golly.
wife. Could I sign her away now? No, sign your life away I love you, dear. And then you're in a green room with some snacks and crap, and they have people come in, and that's the other thing. Just by getting to New York, I wasn't guaranteed a spot on the show. They invited 10 of us, and they drew straws or numbers or whatever. Well, I was drawn third, and because I went over 3 days, only 2 more people got to be on the show. The other 5 had to fly back home with nothing to show for it. So I kind of felt bad, but not too bad.
And you had to pay your own way, so
I did. Yeah, when it was
those people,
$78 though.
when it was priced $78.
But those people didn't get reimbursed. I'm saying.
I don't believe so. When it wasn't in syndication, they sprung, if I'm speaking correctly, I believe, for your airfare and hotel. But syndication, no. Yeah, I got a Millionaire discount at the Ambassador or something for $300 a night. But yeah, there was no gratis.
Is that like the nicest hotel you've ever stayed?
Dan, they crammed 2 double beds in a room that wasn't half the size of the den. I'm not kidding, you could barely close the door without hitting the footboard of the bed.
That's pretty normal New York
Yeah,
hotel.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It's standard New York City, but no, it was, all right.
And you appeared with your father.
Yeah, so the way I got on the show was pretty wild. So my whole family was at Walt Disney World, and we went to different parks on different days, and it just so happened the day that we went to the MGM park, we get off like the little trolley or whatever, and we see these huge signs like "Who Wants to Be a Millionaire" auditions, Father's Day edition. And to your point earlier, like this was like stop down TV for our family. My dad was calling, at the end of the show, they'd say, call in and do the fastest finger to try to get on.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Fastest
over
finger,
over
baby.
the phone. And so immediately, we're like, oh my God, like we got to do this. And my mom was like, Joe, you are not ruining our vacation, wasting time doing this. And me, I'm like, come on, Mom, we got to do this. We got to do
Were you like
this.
11, right?
I was 12.
12.
And that actually came into play because my sister, who's like a year behind me, she was also like, well, I want to go on it. Luckily for me, I was the only one that was old enough. It was like you had to be 12 or I think it was 12 to 15 or something. They had like an age bracket on it. So we're like, yo, we're going to do this. And at the time at MGM Studio, they actually had a mock Who Wants to Be a Million, like a full-on studio there. Like you could go play the game show, and like if you got in the hot seat and won $1 million, they would like fly you out as a member of the audience. So that but the way it worked for us is we went to this auditorium, and it was all these fathers and sons and daughters, and basically they just handed a packet, and it was essentially like a written type of like fastest finger type questionnaire. And I can't remember if it was 50 questions or something. And there was like a time. So basically you filled it out, and then they were going to grade these to see like, all right, you're at least smart enough to like be on the show. You're not a complete idiot. And my dad just kind of looked at me and was like, just chill. I'm going to do this. And I was like, all right, cool. So we do that part, and after that, they're like naming off the numbers of the people that go to the next round. And the next round, basically, so we got our number called that we did well enough on that. And the next round was it was behind like a curtain on a stage or something, and they had basically, like a table with cameras set up and like a panel. And they're just kind of asking us questions, and they're, I guess it's like, all right, you're at least smart enough to be on the show. We want to make sure that you're not weird or anything like that. They want to make sure you have personality and stuff. And so, like, I remember one of the questions they asked me was, if there was any other game show other than this that you would want to be on, what would it be? And I don't know if you guys remember The Weakest Link.
Of course.
You
are.
Yeah, so
The weakest link.
I was like, man, I'd love to be on that show because I'd love to tell that lady off. And
yeah, what was her name?
She was some British lady. I
Yeah,
can't remember her
red
name.
hair.
Short, little, fiery British woman. But
Yeah.
I love that.
and so they've loved that. They're all cracking up. And so like my dad, you know, he'll tell you to this day, he's like, hey, I got us through the first part, but Austin, you were the one that like got us through the second part. Like they really ate it up, all your answers and stuff. So, and from that point, they're like, hey, you know, we've got your information. We'll call you guys in the coming days to let you know if you guys are going to, you know, make it onto the show. And so it was, I think, like 2 days later, or maybe even the next day. So we're still at Walt Disney World, and my sister, she actually had a seizure when we were at Walt Disney World, like at our hotel.
Left turn.
Yeah, it's so because she's diabetic, and so scary thing. And so my brother, who was pretty young at the time, and my mom stayed back at the hotel. Me, my dad, and my youngest sister, who was probably like 4 or 5. She's gonna hate me for telling this story. We go out in the park that day, and we're like in line to do the safari, like where you go and look at like the actual, it's like a full-on safari thing. Mm-hmm. And it's a long line. If you guys have ever been to Disney World, it's such a beating. Everything's a long line. And we're in line, and my dad's phone rings, and he answers his cell phone and like immediately starts looking at me. He's like, it's Millionaire. Like, it's them. And so he's on the phone for like 30 minutes, and he's like, we're good. Like, yeah, we're going to be on. And so I'm freaking out. The entire time, my little sister is like tugging on me, and she's like, Austin, Dad. I'm like, shut up, Jenna, shut up. And so like finally gets off the phone, and you know, we're just losing our mind, and we're, you know, on this ride, and then we're like, what the hell is that smell? My sister had shit herself.
Oh no.
And she's crying. And
that's why she was yelling down.
Yeah, and we're like,
we were on the phone with Millionaire.
Yeah. And so
it was Regis.
You know, we're like telling people in line, like, we're gonna be Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and then we're on the ride, and we're like, oh my God. And we're like, what is that smell? And she just starts crying, and she's like, that's why I was trying to tell you guys I had to use the bathroom. It was like, so really, really funny moment. And yeah, unlike you, they flew out my whole family, and like my dad was like, "Yo, you sure?" Like,
this is the Regis era.
Yeah,
that's syndication.
Yeah, he's like, "You sure?" We've got 4 kids, you know, not necessarily a small family. And they're like, no, we're gonna fly the whole family up. They paid for the airfare, hotel. We stayed at a place called Hotel Empire. Don't really remember anything, you know, it's pretty normal New York hotel. So yeah, that was how we got on. And then I don't know how you guys wanted me to continue, or
so do you show up and just like in Jeff's case, like, are you guaranteed to be on the show?
No, so it's a little bit different than when he was on, because back at that time it was, you actually had, you know, all the contestants. We knew that we were going to be like one of the 10 people that were like sitting there.
Oh, fastest finger. Okay.
Right. And then they do the fastest finger. And so it's like, yeah, you know, you're going to have a chance, but you know, there's like a couple days of filming. So, you know, like he said, if one person had gone super long, you know, other people aren't going to be able to get on. So we were the either second or third people that ended up getting on, I think.
Nice. Do you remember your fastest finger question?
Of course. So it was by date of birth, oldest to youngest, Steven Tyler, Whitney Houston, Cisco, and Britney Spears.
Okay, and did your dad do it?
My dad did it, yeah.
Okay.
So they had all of the...
Because you're in the crowd.
Yeah, so I was sitting behind him, and, you know, if you guys watch the clips...
I think he read them in order.
I did.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, I read them in order,
Darn it.
but yeah...
I'm still thinking.
Steven Tyler, yeah.
So I don't know if you guys watched the clips that I sent you of our episode, but when I was sitting behind my dad, I recognized the guy next to me, because at the time he was like a big winner. He had won $250,000, and I was like, weren't you like the guy? And he's like, yeah. And Regis actually ended up shouting him out like when we got in the hot seat. But
look at him there.
Yeah, and so, my dad, prepping us, the production team's prepping us on how everything's going to work. And, this is just very on brand for my dad. And he was like, I got a question. I've never seen this done, but let's say that we get in the hot seat and we want to use our ask the audience question. Am I allowed to say, don't answer if you don't know the answer?
I've always thought that.
Right. And, to our knowledge, we had never seen anybody do that.
Yeah.
And, he did end up doing that. And
that's genius.
Yeah. It unfortunately didn't really work
right,
out.
It was
in our
still
favor.
about
It was very,
the same percentage of every,
Yeah.
But still, you want to weed your own garden a little bit there.
Right.
Okay, so the audience does vote.
Yeah, so they
I've
have
always
these.
thought they make up those.
No.
percentages.
They have like these little box things.
Yeah, I've seen the
with,
box,
like, the
but
button.
I just thought they were dummy buttons.
Like, did you get to do that for another?
No?
Maybe.
I can't remember necessarily because they, we wrapped up in, I'm 12 and we wrapped up in one day, but they actually did have us on the second day, which was, from what I remember, it was the same day and they just like had us change clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So like I did sit in the audience for like the second day of filming and Regis like pointed us out like, oh, there's the Blonde Waters family. They were, big winners yesterday. And,
Yeah, because there were a few times where Regis says, "Hey, enjoy your night out on the town. We'll see you tomorrow." Like,
right.
There's no way.
Yeah. And,
Yeah, I once went to Wheel of Fortune taping. We saw 10 shows or something.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They did the
Prairie.
entire
Jeez.
$1 Million Movie Week on that one Friday that I was there.
Wow.
The entire week.
Yeah, it was in July in Grand Prairie. We're all wearing
okay.
shorts,
Yeah.
and it was Christmas week.
Christmas week.
So the set's got a fire, it's got the tree, all that kind of stuff. So, but if they pan the crowd, you see everybody wearing shorts. It's really kind of weird.
So I had a question, and whoever wants to answer. I've always been amused by the phone a friend because they always answer on the third ring. So do you have to give them a list of people that you can call, and is there an editing process there? Like, I've always wondered, what if they don't answer?
They're all ready because he's like,
But-
it's Regis
Whoa.
calling. And they're like, oh, hey, Regis.
Well, I know, but
Like, I'm not surprised. Wait, what?
do you have to tip them off? What is that? What's that process?
Yeah.
So they gave, I think, they asked for, hey, you should probably give us like 5 names and phone numbers. And you need to tell them to be on the phone between this hour and this hour.
Okay.
Boy, you're thinking of all your smartest friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Who does
Cut line.
crosswords?
Yeah.
And, there was somebody that, it's like a pretty famous Millionaire moment. This one person was so confident. They were like, no, I only need one person. And the guy didn't answer.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and like for, again, I don't know if you guys watched the clips I sent you, but when we called, like our $32,000 question was like really hard. It was something about elements and words that I had never heard of. My dad called one of his college friends, and the dude literally spells the word Stannis, like Stanous, and it's like, all right, this guy, thank God. Like,
Yeah.
Those
people are cool.
Here, let me play a clip from your show, too, if we can, Video Man, because this leads into a different question that I have about you, too. So, here we go.
Bleach.
Yeah, my buddies were like, "You gonna show up in the den with the frosted tips?"
Frosted tips.
I was like, "No, I'll just wear the Oprah
And this is
sweater."
like 01?
This was 2001. So this was the summer before I was going into 7th grade, I believe.
Okay, so this is right after the tough question there, I guess.
Yeah, at 32,000.
My brother's like 6'4" now.
I just put that little part in the beginning so we can kind of see.
$32,000 and still have a lifeline left. Very exciting. So let's talk about it now. What are you going to be when you grow up, Austin?
I want to be a professional soccer player or a lawyer.
Either one, huh? You want a nice big office when you're a lawyer? A lot of secretaries?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's what,
I found that very creepy.
Yeah.
When I was watching that this
A
morning.
lot of secretaries.
A lot of secretaries. Smack a little tush.
It was a different time. Pre-Me Too era.
You an ass man or a leg man?
Why are you making me choose?
Are soccer players known to have a lot of secretaries?
I think he was leaning into the lawyer part.
Okay. For sure.
So I wanted to follow up.
Yeah.
Which one of those are you closer to?
Neither. My younger brother's actually, he ended up with the brains of the family. He's a lawyer up in New York City. Super, super bright guy. But
You're a man of leisure?
no, I actually work for an investment real estate firm. We're like a large wholesale real estate company. So, Jake, if you're ever looking for another Lake Granbury house that hasn't been,
Soiled?
christened, I'm your man. But yeah, no, we're like the largest wholesale operation in DFW, and one of the largest in the country. So
You've been selling to people from Vegas?
We do have an office in Vegas.
No, I mean, aren't they buying up all this property to build casinos now?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. That was just a joke that fell flat.
How many secretaries?
Yeah, did you get secretaries?
No, we're it's not like a traditional real estate office, like what you would envision at all. I've been doing it for like 9+ years, but it's a bunch of guys in their 20s and 30s. We got some 40-year-old guys, but like when we first started, when I first started like 9 years ago, it was closer to like a frat house type. It was just all dudes and just.
Do you use this as like a pickup line?
That I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah. I would.
I don't know if I ever like.
You do?
Yeah. Well, did.
Did.
Let me clarify. Did.
Yeah.
Like, do you have
I'd
that?
whip out that YouTube clip faster than.
Yeah, look.
You're damn right.
Meredith knows me.
Well, I was hoping you were gonna play the question where I actually had, where the $16,000 question where I answered Kirsten Dunst. That was my.
Yeah, that was your big moment to shine.
Yeah,
that
was something that was definitely pretty popular. And when I went to Coppell, and we at the time there was 3 different middle schools, and so like I had people from other middle schools, like, hey, my friend over at Middle School West, like, they want to talk to you, and like, oh, you're the guy from Millionaire and stuff. And
I didn't even think about that, like going back to school.
Yeah.
After having been on a national television show.
Yeah, you have to be a king.
Oh, we had I don't know, it might have been front page in the Dallas Morning News, like an article about us. We had an article about us in the Coppell Gazette because, I mean, seriously, this was.
Whoa. The Coppell Gazette.
The Gazette?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, that's when I knew we made it.
Yeah.
The Dallas Morning News. Come on.
Oh, yeah, they put me on the Dallas Morning. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, we, like, one of our family friends, went and got that, like, professionally, like, cut out and framed for us. So that's, I think it's still hanging up somewhere in my parents' house. But, yeah, it was definitely a huge moment. And, my parents, probably going to regret saying this, but my parents had, when I was like really young, they had signed me up for like children's modeling. Like I was in like J.C. Penney.
You were
like,
second place in the Beautiful Baby contest, according to Regis on the show.
My dad loves that story. I'm not sure. I don't know why. Yeah, I think my dad must have told them because he had that ready to go.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we used to have like a.
Well, you're a beautiful 12-year-old now. So.
Yeah, he said something.
What if we go backstage during the
They're going to snag so much secretary puss.
But so I had like done like some like J.C. Penney ads when I was.
Let's play Alta Boy.
Probably like 5 years old. And
That's what a fast finger will get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of.
I've
been told mine are pretty fast. Sorry.
No, you're fine. But my dad was saying, he's like, hey, just wait. Like when this airs, maybe you're gonna get rediscovered. And I'm like, Dad, there's no way. Well, sure enough, somebody calls our house like the night it answers, and it was like this. His daughter worked at Kim Dawson, which is like a large agency, and so I ended up like doing that for a couple years. And do you remember Hit Clips?
Of course.
I was in a Hit Clips commercial Like, it was the most random shit. Like, I mean, and, you know, looking back on it, like, I hated doing it because it's like, it's not really cool you're in middle school, everyone's awful towards each other, and you're saying, hey, yeah, I'm a model.
I'm a model.
Like, oh, that's like easy target practice, you know, and so, like, you know, I'm constantly getting pulled out of class and stuff, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I just got a doctor's appointment or something, and, like, this kid that I ended up, you know, once I got to high school, met him in high school, he's like, man, I swear, because when I did it the second time around, they had these huge posters hanging up at JCPenney of me on like a skateboard. and he was like, weren't you the kid that was, and I was like, no.
Not me.
That wasn't me,
nope.
man.
Never
like,
been on a skateboard.
Stop talking about that. But
never even been photographed.
But yeah, you know, looking back on, I'm like, man, I shouldn't have been like so embarrassed about that because it was such crazy money. Like, I got like $2,000 to miss school for 2 days for that commercial. Like,
well, you didn't get anything.
No. That was actually like, no, my parents weren't taking that money. They were like putting that aside for me for sure.
It's OU money.
Yeah.
That is OU money.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah.
Man, I feel bad because my winnings went. I went a totally different direction than that.
Oh yeah.
What'd you do?
Well, you know the first. Well, and I don't know how they did it with yours, but they sent me. I was living in an apartment at the time. I go to check the mail.
You won $250,000.
$250,000, and it happened to be my birthday. It was March 23rd. And I go, you know, the little dinky mailboxes you open, there's an envelope. It says Castle Rock Productions. And I thought, well, there's no way this is actual check. There was the check for $250,000. I go to Bank of America. The guy laughs at me. I kind of slid it across the counter. He's like, what do you want me to do with this? So, well, let's start by
I'll take it
having
hundreds,
a conversation
bud.
or whatever. Yeah, I got fast fingers. Let's go. And so he goes back and gets somebody, and they come out and they start apologizing. Oh, can we get you a glass of water?
Oh,
or whatever?
sure.
Yeah. When they realized that I
Roll
wasn't
out the
full
red
of it.
carpet.
Yeah.
And because now they don't do it that way. They annuitize. If you win more than 50, it's an annuitized. Where in my case, I got the full amount, and even though I had some debauchery a little after I got the check, lots. You had a whole year to then pay the taxes. And so because I invested at a good time, I made in investing what I owed the IRS, which was $67,344. I'll never forget writing that check.
So they give you $250,000, a check for $250,000.
Just a check for $250,000.
Okay,
I couldn't
wow.
believe it.
Yeah.
And I would go down to the bank like it was my check from Taco Bell or whatever.
I wonder how many people end up in tax problems.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because I
yeah.
could see that, yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I'll pay it.
Yeah,
We'll get
that's
there.
numbers with CPA guy, so I kind of had him sort of take care of all that. But yeah, so but anyway, I was already done with college, so I guess that's why I was a little different, but not as wholesome as maybe as other people might have spent it, but had a hell of a lot of fun.
Do you feel like you still have any of that money?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've invested pretty well, and I married well, so that helps, especially when you're a man of leisure.
Yes, of course.
It helps a lot.
I feel like I want Jeff's life.
Yeah, it doesn't suck.
It doesn't sound like it.
All right. So here, let's play this other video. You referenced it, but it's the which actress played the head cheerleader in the 2000 film Bring It On?
Nice.
Mina Savara.
C. Kirsten Dunst.
So now Dad doesn't believe you,
Yeah.
Not at all.
Did you see this movie?
and you had
Yes, I
to
have.
take him through the steps on
Yeah.
why it's true.
It's not on that. She's
But you knew this? You had seen that movie? Oh, okay. So you're locked in.
We'd all seen this movie.
Really?
She was probably in the Spank Bank.
So yeah, right there.
She was definitely
I've never heard
in
of
this thing.
Kirsten Dunst. I know I saw her on the 2001 MTV Music Awards, and I knew that she was the girl from Bring It On, and they said that was her name.
You're positive.
I don't think Dad's kidding, right?
Oh, watch this. The pressure he puts on me.
$16,000 we're talking about. I will go with Austin. It's on you.
Boy, he throws you right on the...
Man,
Kirsten Dunst, final answer.
getting that Dikembe Mutombo thing.
I love you, son. You're still in the
Now
family.
I love you.
And like, so one of the, you couldn't hear it there, but one of the choices was Jennifer Love Hewitt, and I mixed her up with Sarah Jessica Parker. You know, it's just like a woman with 3 names,
Right.
like, and you know, so we had like a big watching party at our house, like when this aired, and you know, they told us don't tell anybody how much you won, you know, and
you both have to sign something.
I don't know if we, but like, you know, so we had people guessing numbers and stuff, and but so I mixed up Jennifer Love Hewitt. I was like, oh, wasn't that the girl on Sex and the City? And my mom, like, when we had our party, was like, he's never watched that show. Like,
very concerned.
Yeah, like, and I hadn't, like, I don't know, but yeah.
The father-son thing. So every couple had a kid. There was a little kid.
Yeah, from
like
12 to 15, it was
just
either
because
son
your
or
first
daughter.
questions were really easy. It was like, what shape is a pizza?
Yeah.
And then you had to use 50-50. I was disappointed in you guys, and especially your dad, because it was from the book The Outsiders, who was the older brother's name.
For Soda Pop, right?
Yeah, Soda Pop. I thought that's kind of a...
Well, and my dad says
thing
in
that
the
everybody
question,
knows.
he never read the book.
Mm-hmm.
I read that book for school the next year. Like,
next year.
that was 7th grade reading for me. And I was just like, when they're like, oh, we're reading The Outsiders, I'm like, God damn it. Like, but we
You had
didn't
to blow a 50-50
We didn't,
on
no, we didn't use the 50-50
Oh, I thought you
on
did.
that one.
No.
The 50-50, that was like another moment where, you know, me and Regis kind of had a back and forth, not like, you know, butting heads or anything, but, you know, I don't know if my dad, again, if he had asked them, it probably was my dad asking, knowing him, asking the producers, because you guys recently played like the Norm Macdonald clip, I think, where Norm says, I know if I say it's between A and B and I use my 50-50, A and B are going to be the ones left. And that's exactly what happened to him. And so I think my dad asked them, like, hey, how does this work? Like, should we not say what we're thinking it is? And the lady said, and again, you know, who knows if this is true, but what she told us was, no, the way it works is it's like a poll, you know, they ask X amount of people this question, and it's like the 2 answers that are left are the right answer and the second most guessed answer. And so
it is trying to make it tough.
Right. And so the one that we used it on was about the Ephesians.
Yeah, like Turkey.
It was like Turkey, Iraq, Kuwait, and maybe Saudi Arabia or something. Syria, that's right. And so so we used 50-50 on that, and it was between Turkey, which is obviously a huge country, Kuwait, very small. And my dad's like, oh, it's got to be Turkey. And then that's when I bring up what that lady told us, like, hey, why would Kuwait be there? Why would they be, you know, why would people be guessing Kuwait? It's the small country. And Regis is like, what are you talking about? And I was like, listen, man, I'm like, this is what she told us when...
You're a smart kid.
Yeah. And Regis was like, Austin, I've been doing this for years. You and I switch seats. Like, you have this more figured out than I do. And I was wrong.
You were wrong,
it was
but
Turkey.
still.
But, like, the reasoning I felt was pretty sound. And, but, yeah, luckily my dad trusted his gut on that one.
When they were going over biography, too, they were saying you tested well in some... Were you in Duke Tip?
I think that's what it was called.
Oh, okay. My daughter was in Duke Tip. Did you travel or no?
No, I never.
You didn't go to
I
a
never
college
signed
for
up
a
for
summer?
anything for it. Like I remember, you know, my dad and I went.
I think it's a scam a little bit.
Yeah, you got to pay money.
You have to be kind of smart.
Hey, dude, I'm like, you know, I'm not an idiot by any means, but I'm not like some boy genius.
But it's
either,
hey, take this test, and if you place, we will allow you to spend $2,000.
That's exactly that's what I was going to say.
So
it was
my
like
daughter
$2,000
was allowed.
We had something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
My
offering
parents were
trips to
like, "You
like
made it."
Australia or something.
You're done.
Oh, look, you got published in your poem got published in a book. You could buy this book for
Yeah.
$49.
Would you like to buy a plaque?
Yeah, I think we went to one event and realized it was a
best
scam.
number 12 radio show. Remember, we were offered we could have bought a plaque.
Sure.
Damn.
Yeah. Same
Only
thing when
got a
you
plaque.
get your grad degree. They're like, you want to give us $300 to have this framed? Like,
Oh, really?
No. I don't.
We could hang it in the studio, man. right next to Sinbad.
That sounds great.
Jake's graduate. Oh my gosh.
Put it behind you, so
yeah,
look real official.
All right. Well, anything else to get into with this, or should we move on to Joel Corey soon?
Yeah. It's cool. It's just kind of cool living through your experiences for a show that we've all watched, a million times.
No pun intended.
Did you say you got recognized from it, Jeff? Did you actually get? You'd be out and somebody be like, "Hey, wait, did I see you on TV?"
The weirdest one too was obviously I lived in the area at the time, and so again, this was MySpace. Not that it would matter whether MySpace, Facebook, whatever, doesn't matter. But I'm not saying this. There's no bragging there. I've just got I don't know how many messages a day, and some included some photos of
talking about nudes.
There we go.
Oh,
co-eds.
It's a quarter of a milli, brother.
Come on now. Yeah.
That's better than mine.
So I go to Baton Rouge, of all places, and meet up with this chick at some, I don't know, really shitty Cajun restaurant.
So someone had DM'd you or something.
Yeah,
and,
DM'd.
And you're like, I'll go to Baton Rouge.
And I'll go
to meet
so what
this
the hell
person?
else do I have to do? A man of leisure. What
He's
am I
got
going to do?
$250,000
Okay.
and he's single.
Yeah, right? And so
He'll pay the taxes
we're standing
later.
at the bar at this really shitty Cajun restaurant, and I have this family of 5 come up to me, and I think they just saw my profile. I don't even know if they saw me straight on. Said, "Oh my God, you're the Millionaire guy." I'm like, "Holy shit! We're in Louisiana. How is this even possible?" Anyway,
They got TV
They
here?
got TV
Yeah.
here?
Jeez.
Yeah.
I didn't know they knew what that was.
Yeah,
But
so,
yeah, a few places here and there around the area here. Yeah.
well, how'd
Well,
your
it must-
experience go?
I was going to say, though, it must be pretty easy to close a deal if you're the guy who had just won $250,000.
You know.
Easier for sure.
Yeah.
She's, it's kind of like being out with Monica Lewinsky. You're just waiting for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not the president.
Right.
Yeah,
And
no,
I've got
but
those fast fingers too.
but she DM'd you. She sent you a naked photo. You know that date's going to go well.
yeah,
It's not like, oh my gosh. Well, she,
Yeah, right.
Will she put out?
Well, there you go.
I've not heard that term in
I know, but that's
20 years. Yes.
certainly what you were thinking at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Excuse me.
didn't have MySpace at the time, but literally for several years after the fact, I would get random messages on Facebook, like maybe a decade after the fact. Unfortunately, it wasn't similar to yours. I was getting messaged by like creepy old dudes.
Oh,
like,
no.
Lou Pearlman type.
Yeah, like, oh,
Hey, got a
you're
boy
such
band,
a
I'm
good
fired
looking. You were such a good looking kid, like.
You really were.
And yeah, I don't know what happened, but I would get recognized too from time to time. But one that like stood out was, this was pretty soon after it aired. It had been that same summer. I was like on a cruise with my grandpa and my 2 other cousins. He took all 3 of us, and we're sitting at dinner, and there's like a family like 25 yards away and just like staring at me, and it's like. I'm looking. I'm like, dude, this is really weird. And like, they finally like come up and like, I'm so sorry. Like, but were you the little kid on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire earlier this summer? I was like, yeah, it was. But so yeah, it was definitely cool to get recognized. Would have been a lot cooler to be single and like like older, but it was cool.
So you guys know what Jake feels like now, since he
always getting recognized.
He gets recognized.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm. I'm out there with a jersey with my name on it. And people
Right.
don't recognize me.
Right. Dumb Zone Tumblr.
They're like, Dan Quinn? No. All right. Well, stick around if you want. And if you don't, then, we are not the boss of you. So thanks for being here, guys.
Hey, thanks for
this
having
was
us.
awesome.
Thank you,
Absolute
Dan,
honor.
Jake, Blake.